Retro anime. How did we find it? How does it hold up? Unpacking the ins and outs of being an old school nerd and proving that 80s kids can't remember a damn thing right. These are the mindless midlife musings of the anime nerd.
Welcome to Mindless Midlife Musings of the Anime Nerd. I am Rick, and I'm joined by the rest of our panel, Vic, Brian, and Lynette. Hello, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
Well, today we join the ranks of the Hunters and follow Iria as she tries to defeat the unstoppable killing machine known as Zeiram. Iria Zeiram, the animation, is a 1994 six-episode OVA series produced by Ashii, production and directed by Tetsuro Amino. The series serves as a prequel to an original live-action film called Zeiram in 1991. The OVA saw a US-dubbed VHS release in 1996, with DVD releases in 2000, 2004, 2016. So it's had a couple runs.
It's been around.
It has indeed. Now, the story follows Iria, an apprentice to her older brother and bounty hunter Gren, who go on a rescue mission to a hijacked spaceship called the Karma. There, they discover that the hijacker is actually an alien called Zeiram that broke out of the cargo hold and began to massacre the crew. And from there, the mystery unfolds. So, 1996 is when we originally would have had an opportunity to see this. Had any of us watched this before?
I do my apology now.
Absolutely. Brian, you go right ahead, buddy.
Hey, Andrea. And this really goes out to a vow was made, and I'm gonna go ahead and let you know now that I apologize, because you're gonna see some things come out you're gonna hear some things come out of my mouth that shouldn't genetically be possible. And I just want to go ahead and say you might want to do like a trigger warning for the audience in your graphics to let them know. Oh, there we go. You already heard one of them. It was boba tea and biscuits.
Fantastic. Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Thank you. All
right. So nobody'd seen this. Vic, did you say you'd seen it?
I have.
Okay.
Of course
I have the first or second DVD release. I don't remember which one.
Copy that.
He has it on Laserdisc, and he also has it on plasma disc too, right?
Ironically, I think I do have it on Laserdisc. I think I have one.
I don't.
He was the first one that got it 3D printed, right?
That's right. So yeah, this came out in 96. So most of us were already out of high school, and well within our anime fandoms.
I feel like I'm the youngest. I was a freshman in high school.
You are the youngest, yes.
In 96, you were a freshman?
She was in high school, yeah.
Class
and now we all hate you.
Did you graduate early? Did you graduate in 97?
No, class of 2000.
There you go.
Yeah.
So technically, your high school career is not eligible to be reviewed by this.
At the end of her senior year. So this anime, it's a sci-fi, is the best way to describe it to anybody who is listening that maybe hasn't seen it. It's definitely a sci-fi, and you can see the DNA of its bones. Like it's very blatantly obvious where it's pulling its inspiration from in a lot of ways.
You know what? I actually thought it was more slice of life.
Felt slice of life to you? Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
It felt like what bounty hunters go through.
It opens with the main character Iria saving hostages from no-named villains. It's not really relevant, but it's a fun little action piece to set her up as, a tough girl who does, get shit done. And it ends pretty funny. She doesn't manage to rescue the hostages, and I loved just the actual reality of it is like, of course, the one thing they both really needed to do was go to the bathroom. They'd been hostages so long
right,
that they had to pee. I thought that was funny as shit. And I was like, nobody ever talks about that.
Look, there are a lot of details that I thought they nailed. Well, I don't want to say nailed because
they did a good
it
job.
was
They
fresh.
did.
It was fresh.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. I agree. So yeah, that made me giggle. And honestly, this whole thing, the aesthetic is really interesting because it's kind of cyberpunk, but it's sort of like Japanese cyberpunk. It's like the ship design is sort of steampunky. It's a very
like
interesting.
retro steampunk cyberpunk.
Yeah, it's all over it's what
Felt
it
like
is unique.
Treasure Planet.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great way to look at it. It's really interesting, and I give it credit because I haven't really seen it done much, you know.
Or well.
That's fair. Now the character designs were all really strong. Iria had a really good, like, striking. Her armor was like really cool, really well developed, and like a lot of these characters, not all the characters, but like a lot of these characters were really. Zeiram was freaking wild, like just
a
crazy design. Some of the characters less interesting. The villain guy with this little Fu Manchu mustache and shit. I was like, what is that? But overall,
you know what he gave me the vibe of? Maybe not in look, but just his attitude.
Yeah,
I felt like we watched Macross.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Super Dimensional Fortress Macross.
Thank you.
That one guy that Global was one politician that Global was
the mayor guy. Yeah. It's definitely some of that vibe. I dig it. And then is all as cool as all of that kind of stuff was. Then it was really funny to get to the flip side of it and be like, the best you guys could come up with was Bob. The name of a character. It's like Bob. And at first I thought it was Glenn, so it was like Bob and Glenn. Then I realized that they're actually saying Gren, and I was like, okay, well at least that sounds sci-fi-ish. Bob.
Who becomes like a big part of the whole thing. His name is Bob.
I really I wrote a note about it because I want to talk about it, and it was very alarming to me how comfortable everyone was with it. Strange. I did like another thing I wanted to comment on before we really kind of dug in is because they show it in the first episode is the shields, the way that they have shields. I thought that was kind of cool. Like it reminded me of Dune, how they sort of have like those like panes that come up around them to like protect them from things.
The David Lynch version.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very crystal-like.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to me. I was like, that reminds me of Dune. I thought that was neat.
I think that's the thing about it is they stuff like that really stood out to me. Like technology, one, it worked. Seemed like they had a design for it.
Yeah.
Like a gun was a gun, a sword was a sword, but their devices, they took just a little bit of time to animate how they worked, and you're like, you know what? Okay, I can ride with it. You know,
it's like they put effort into the design,
and you didn't have to jump through too many hoops, or fill out the T-38 with explosive space modulator.
Right.
You have to say that. You just click the blick, and next thing you know, it's working. You're like, okay, they use this, but the graphics for that were really good for that. So,
but they did show the caution that you need to take with activating that shield, because if you're too stupid, you're gonna cut yourself in half.
Dude, that paid off so well. I was like, damn.
You know,
that was
I was sitting
crazy.
There. When I saw it building around, I was like, well, what happens if your ship gets stuck right? And then when I saw that episode, I was like, oh, so that's what happens when your ship gets stuck.
Are we talking about the transmat portion?
No, she's talking about the shields themselves. That if you're in, like, you have to be particularly careful about the shields, like, and how you're using them, because you can't get caught in the way of the shield as it's forming. Like,
yes, tuck your arms in.
Problematic.
Laser's gonna laser.
That's why the bad dude whose name the Putin Bay or whatever, like when he's in his chair and he activates the shield, he's standing perfectly still. He's like,
he just doesn't move.
Just gonna stay right here.
You read the
I like-
manual.
I like the transmat, the idea of the transmats and how that worked too. Like I thought, okay, cool. Not, we have teleportation. It is a thing, but it's like a highly controlled, very particular, very like regulated process because you can't just be willy-nilly transporting all over the place.
Gotta beat me up. It's not like that. Nah,
No.
there's rules.
Yeah, there's like a clearly lineated set of rules and circumstances that have to be followed.
Yeah, it's
And,
like I got to get from point A to point B. It's like, okay, you got to make a reservation, you got to pay
Yeah.
the bill,
Yeah.
you got to be
I-
on
bureaucracy.
time.
I love that they
Yeah.
put the bureaucracy into that as well.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
And like, of course, there's a governing body over this. Is exactly what would happen.
And the fact that they bring it up too, the guy's like, if we miss this time, I lose money. I understand. No, you don't understand. It's very expensive. But can I do a quick shout out to Gren's booby traps as he was walking through the thing?
Facts.
Because when he was walking through and he'd just go, "Oh yeah, there's this place," I was like, "Is he
Toss
littering?"
some
I was
Cracker
like, "What is
Jacks
he
on the floor.
doing?" Like, I was like, "Why is he throwing his garbage?" I know everybody's dead, but come on. And then when they all went, I was like,
It was a lot of clever there. I give him credit.
Mhm.
So the first episode has a lot of a very Aliens vibe. They're on this ship, the Karma. It's a hostage situation, but there are apparently no hostages. Everybody's fucking dead, and
Yeah.
personally dead.
Yeah, that escalated quickly.
It sure did. It really did. And then we meet Zeiram right away. They don't pull any punches. They're like, here's your big bad for all 6 episodes. Have fun with this. Well, so it's a good time for me to ask. Vic, I already know your answer. Lynette, Brian, subbed or dubbed on this one?
I had to do.
I did a
had to do
combo.
dub. Yeah, I did combo.
I had dub with subs.
I did the
So-
same.
Mostly
Did
because
dubs
I
with-
had to work over a couple of weekends, so
Yeah,
I couldn't.
I did that as well, and I think that I can safely say that Gren's voice actor was the roughest thing about the dub. He was very bad.
Well,
Um,
one of the things I was able to do was I got it downloaded on Plasma Haiku. I'm not Vic, and with Plasma Haiku, you could actually upload it to a DJ controller, and you can scratch both English and a Japanese dub. So, wiki.
I was with you for that whole ride. That was fantastic. Well done. The
Plasma Haiku.
So it's this whole first episode's very Aliens, and it ends in a very Aliens kind of way. Hero characters doing self-sacrifice. The whole ship gets nuked. And Aliens, the first thing, she's like, we should just nuke the whole fucking thing. And in this, they did it, and I was like, it's tight. They actually did the thing.
I love moments like this when I'm like, it is aliens. I
Mhm.
sometimes I have such a narrow view of what I'm watching.
Yeah,
Like I can't see. Oh my God, they pulled this from this, and they pulled
yeah.
like
It's
we had
called
the
old
same-
age, Brian.
No, it can't be for me because we did it for Project ACO,
Yeah,
and we were like, Superman's daughter. I didn't see that shit coming. I mean, yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. It was. So the whole first episode was basically a homage to Aliens, and it was cool. And even Zeiram's got that mouth thing, which
Yeah.
we'll get back to that.
Oh, we're gonna
Um,
get back to that. As a
We're
matter
gonna
of
get
fact,
back.
you can
No,
go-
we're definitely getting back to that.
Oh, we're
uh,
gonna get. Oh, yo, man, that's gonna be some slap, not sake.
So when this episode ended, it was very much one of those things where I'm like, wow, where do they go from here? Like, how does this story go on? Like, it was very Aliens. Bob got fucked. Like, we don't know if Bob lived or died. And Gren, he's absolutely killed himself, self-sacrificed.
Oh yeah.
And and she's like floating along in her little space pod ship thing, and you're just like, damn, like, where do they even go from here? And the answer is to another planet, which I appreciated, and I loved that she's so green that upon re-entry she's like, why is it so hot? And like she's like can't figure out why her whole ship is basically on fucking fire because she's re-entering an atmosphere. And I was like, yeah, this is why you're a rookie.
And to
I don't think
resolve that, she takes off her clothes.
Of course,
She's
because
like,
that's gonna make things better.
it's like the ship is hot. If I take off my clothes, that should cool down the ship.
that works all the time. Anybody from Florida knows. During the summertime, you get into your car the first time, man. I used to hate cars that had leather.
Oh, that's yeah.
Oh, still do.
But taking your clothes off doesn't make the leather less hot. It only
Mm-mm.
makes things worse.
Makes things
Makes
worse.
it all worse.
Some people like toasty nuts. I mean,
I like them roasted. Iria ends up in the second episode. She ends up on a planet that I had to write the name down because I was really bad about the names with this one. Daowajan, but they pronounce it very strangely, but it's written Daowajan. Anyway, it's a real shithole. It's run down to hell, and she immediately, some kids steal her ship, which was some rookie shit. It was just really funny.
what you're looking
Yeah.
for is ripe for gentrification.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, this needed it. And honestly, I give her some credit. She showed a tremendous amount of restraint because I would have already shot all the children in this
Yes.
episode. I would have not missed at all.
You maybe you should leave with the fact that you're a loving and devoted father.
Maybe. Maybe,
I
but if
mean,
they try to steal my spaceship and all my rations, and I don't know where the fuck I am, I mean, just
maybe
saying.
but the problem is they haven't heard Whitney Houston, the greatest love of all. You have, so you know that the children are the future. Kids are going to be kids. Are you going to shoot the same kids and hook?
Hey, look, man,
No, you just slap them until their grandchildren walk crooked. That's how you do that.
Very suitable answer.
it was a very it was a very frustrating moment for me. I'm like, really, you're like days away from being a full-fledged bounty hunter, and these like 10-year-olds are giving you a problem. It was very
Just
anyway,
took advantage of her left and
it's
right.
fine. It was a comedic thing. I get it. We're endearing her. It's fine. It wasn't like it ruined it for me or took me out of it or anything. It was just one of those. I'm like, oh, I already don't like these characters.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm clearly a novice in this thing. What's with the whole pulling the eye down and sticking
Oh,
your
that's
tongue out?
FU.
Yeah, it's a teasing thing.
That's Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
an FU.
In this episode, Iria starts hearing a voice, this disembodied voice helping her. And we don't know at the time who it is. We do get to find out, though, and that's a whole other thing.
Where's the voice coming from?
I'm for the comm around her neck, because she's got a comm, because her and her brother both had a little comm thing, and it was
They had friendship
Um,
bracelets.
So
yeah,
it was
friendship bracelets.
So this was actually like a walkie-talkie. What you're saying?
Yeah, it was
Yes.
like a walkie-talkie thing.
They say it was a walkie-talkie.
Yeah, they did. When she gives it to her brother in episode 1, Bob looks over at it. He's like, "Is that a comm?" And he's like, "Yeah." And it was like a little moment.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
So-
I'm back now.
You're good. So Zeiram also happens to crash on this planet because, of course,
Like freaking
I don't know
Terminator.
how you got there. Just those space
He just
trajectories.
took the short way and went from explosion to planet.
Well,
So-
Yeah.
if I'm from watching space movies,
yeah,
two degrees,
is it? Yeah, without a doubt,
You-
all the difference
you
in the
end
world.
up in Jupiter. You end up in. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
he basically got shot out in the same direction that she was going at the same time.
Yeah, basically, or
5 minutes
half
later.
degree. Nevertheless, ends up on here, and science notwithstanding, begins to kill the shit out of everything. Which, okay, I'm with you on this one. But then the, I don't know, I could say the city manager, I guess, the plant manager, I don't know. He does some shit. He's just like, oh, cool, Zeiram's over there in the slums. Tight. Keep watching that. Let us know how it works out. And Yuri's like, I'm sorry, the fuck? Are you, what are you
Again.
saying? He's like, hey, just gonna get rid of it.
Gentrification.
Yeah, we're just,
He's the purge, if you will. But
Yeah.
yeah.
we're gonna let Zeiram kill the impovered. And honestly, using Zeiram to kill the impovered is some Trump level shit. I was just like, fucking damn. And
Well, first off, you gotta point out the conspiracy.
yeah,
They wiped out any knowledge of
yes,
the
that's
fact
right.
that karma existed, the serum
Hmm.
existed, that there were
Yeah,
actually dead people on that ship.
she's trying to report it, and she's like, "What do you mean? Like, look,
Hmm.
I had a mission. It was like cleared by the FCC or whatever governing organization they had." And they're like, "Yeah, we don't have any record of that."
It's like, what are
She's
you
like, "What
talking about?
the hell are you talking about?" And this is where, yeah,
Hey,
the mystery of it really starts to unfold. You're like, how the hell? Like, we watched it all go down. Like, what is going on?
And we also have to talk about the fact that before, in the last episode, she actually retrieved, I guess, the information saying that she had it on a locket.
Yeah, the locket. Yeah, so in the
Right.
previous episode, uh, Puda Bay or whatever the fuck that guy's name is, he had a locket that he was very important to him. We all knew it wasn't important to him. He's not that good of an actor.
I know.
But it was obviously something important. And in this episode, she has obtained that locket. She has it with her. And of course, the locket is important, and it comes up later. But not so important. It's not like hella important. It's just a little.
Right. It
important.
wasn't like a major plot point or anything,
it
but
wasn't like ending the series important. It was just like that was a little. Anywho, so Zero is in the city, and he's killing everybody, killing kids, killing adults. Didn't matter, younglings, all of them. And
Straight
and then
Anakin.
Iria,
Straight Anakin.
straight Anakin. And then Iria does some great shit. She lassos the son of a bitch and drags him to the Capitol. It's like, you want to
I
use
love
this
that
thing?
part.
You want to use this thing to kill the impoverished? Hold up, let me deliver him to your door.
Right.
So great.
now you have to deal with them.
It was fantastic.
The
And
timing was perfect. He
yeah.
came in right through that little before the glass shield came down,
Yeah,
and
I
that was
loved
it.
that. It was fantastic.
Mhm.
And I did really enjoy the cleverness of using the transmat system to defeat Zeiram the first time, leaving behind just his hands. It was cool. And I loved that it didn't work the first time, because how often, like, if it were anybody in a real world setting, they would try to do something and it wouldn't fucking work. And of course, that's exactly what happened to her. She's had this brilliant idea and she tries it, it doesn't work. And it's like, of course it didn't work. That was absolutely great. Second try, then it worked. And then she got the message like, Transmat 2 is not working. She's like, fucking shit.
Word. Sure. I thought something on my end.
Right. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. And so then, yeah, she gets to leave, and thus ends the episode. Episode 3 starts, and she's floating along in space, sticking her ass out of her trunk while she's trying to find food. I say that only because they really lingered on the shot a little longer than I thought they would, so I thought it was worth mentioning. She realizes she doesn't have any food, and because the shithead kids ate it all. And then she gets a call from Puda Bay or whatever the guy's name is. And obviously, it's a trap. Of course.
The trap.
Exactly. She ends up going back to her home planet, Mies, I think they called it. And there, now, I don't know if they actually named them, but I called them puff tanks because I couldn't think of anything better. Basically, a shit ton of puff tanks try to kill her. Most of this episode is her trying not to be killed by puff tanks. And her buddy, Fujikuro, helping her not get killed by puff tanks.
Buddy?
Yeah, I'm going to air quote that. Buddy. Fujikuro is another bounty hunter character that we're introduced to in episode 1, who she accosts. So he's a...
She accosts because he steals her bounty.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's a little bit of a
Her
dick.
bounty, her rescue.
Her rescue... Yeah.
Both.
Both. Anyway, he's an acquaintance. He's a friend from work.
He's like the coworker that you hate, but you're stuck working with him.
There you go. The other person assigned to the project that you really just didn't want to have to work with.
Mhm.
Actually knows his shit.
He does know his shit, and that's what makes it so irritating. Is he's actually not wrong, like most of the time, and you're like,
Right.
why you got to be that? Anyway, she avoids all these puff tanks thanks to her buddy Fujikuro, and then she decides that she wants to infiltrate. And I had to write the name down of the company because I said it a bunch of times and it made me chuckle. To Don Tipiday, because it's a great...
It felt like a very Pootie Tang thing to say.
Like,
me
Just
child,
rolls
give me
off the
eye.
tongue.
Yeah.
It was so like, it made me think of aliens because I always thought the name, Wayland Wutani, like I thought those were like really stupid names. Anyway, Tadon Tipiday Corporation. She wants to go there. She wants to confront Putabe, who is allegedly dead. She calls into the
Yes.
company, and they're like, "Oh, he died. Nothing to tell you there."
I don't know what you're talking about.
And
Yeah.
she's like, "What the fuck are you talking? Like, I just got a call from this asshole not that long ago." We also confirmed that Bob is dead. Bob from episode 1 did in fact die. Fujikuro had to ID the body. We're all very sad for Bob. She does find in this episode that her locket does have this chip in it, and she listens to the chip, and it's a voice recording that with damning evidence against Putube. So she of
Clearly.
course
Clearly,
she of course
damn it. Because
look,
just like everything, there's audio recording for everything.
absolutely.
It's like people nowadays recording themselves doing crimes, and then it's like, here's the video evidence.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so she decides she's going to go to Tadon Tipiday and confront Putube
One more
about
time.
his.
Can you say it one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. Tadon Tipiday.
Apparently, there's a translation for that.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
is that, Brian?
Swing low in chimichurri.
I believe that is the official name of the company. Yeah. So she goes to infiltrate this company, and this disembodied voice is helping her. You need to go to this floor. You need to do this, and you're like, who the fuck is this guy? So she confronts Putube, plays the voice recording. Great shit. She does a ton of Batman shit in this episode. A lot of grappling hook stuff. A lot of swinging
Right.
around.
Right.
A lot of Batman in this one.
Except the stealth part.
Except for the stealthy part. Very not stealthy. And as it
You
turns
know what
out...
it felt like?
Yeah.
It felt like G.I. Joe the movie, Athona.
Okay.
Yeah, no stuff, big flowing cape.
Yeah.
Because as we all know, G.I. Joe the movie is anime, so.
You're right. Yes, to some in the minority.
We
find
almost laughed.
We find that this disembodied voice that's been helping Iria in this episode is actually Bob. Now, what the fuck happened to Bob? Why is Bob a disembodied AI? And I gotta tell you, listeners, they do not clarify this for you at all.
No.
You just
We'll explain how it happened.
3 episodes in, Bob is suddenly a disembodied AI stuck in the computer system of the Tadon Tipiday Corporation, prisoner to the bad guy, basically.
Yep.
This is...
You know, the thing about it is,
Well, no, they did explain it. I'm gonna
Did they?
paraphrase how.
Okay.
I'm gonna paraphrase how they explained it. Bob
Okay.
goes, "Well, some shit went down, and this is what happened."
I feel like...
That-
I
that
feel like
was-
that's
that was-
more explanation than the...
No,
That was
we
kinda
can go with that.
I
That
think-
was what I got from Bob's explanation.
Oh,
was
my
like,
God.
some shit went down, and
It's fine.
and this is what
And
happened.
You're
now
gonna have
he's an AI.
You're gonna have to carry me out of here. I don't think it would have mattered so much to me if in the next episode it starts with her doing this holodeck training, and it ends with Bob scolding her about it, and Fujikuro's there, and he's completely not bothered by the fact that Bob's AI is in the room.
Despite the fact that he ID'd the body.
that he had to ID the body, though, absolute, no big deal. Just this is a Tuesday.
You owe me $10. I
Right,
had to go identify your body.
I think that's the part that even he's not bothered by this. He's just like, well, you guys suck. I'm like, what are you talking about?
He was so easy with it.
It was very funny.
I
to me.
want. The thing about it is, if they had used that technology more, if Bob met Sam, and we had dueling AIs, kind of like
Some.
Ultron and Vision,
I would have been, yeah.
that would have been cool.
If it would have been a plot point that I don't. Now, I've never seen the live action Zeiram movie. This is, you seen it, Vic?
Of course he
I know the
has.
Bob AI is in it.
I don't
Now-
remember much about it.
As I know the Bob AI is in it, but I don't know. And so I get that this was them trying to make the Bob AI have a reason for existing, but they
Mhm.
really just they were just not trying very hard.
So, did the movie came out first, and then
The mov-
this?
yeah, the movie came out first. There were actually 2 movies, but the movie came out first, and then they did this anime as a prequel to the movie. And in typical Japanese storytelling fashion, there are inconsistencies between the two. So she fights Zerum in this, which is the prequel, but apparently the first time she's ever fought Zerum is in the movie, which is not. It's the sequel. So it's, again, they don't 100%. You kind of just got to go with it.
But this was supposed to be.
This is supposed to take place before the movies.
All right, it's supposed to take place before the movie. I
Right.
think she's a full in the movie. She's a full-fledged bounty hunter because she gets out here.
See, now Brian, that would make sense. Except in the movie, she's a rookie. Again, the consistency is not. It's just not the strong suit. Anyway, that's not important. What is important is Bob's an AI and nobody cares. In
Everyone's
this
strangely
episode,
okay with it.
so in episode 2, they introduced the kid thieves, the ones that I would have shot, but lovingly though, because I'm a loving person. But I
Nailed
thought
it.
that was a one and done deal, but no. In episode 4, they bring 2 of those kids back, and those 2 kids, they sneak onto a ship headed for Mies, and
Very easily, by the way.
barely an inconvenience.
Gotta love that security.
And we're introduced to a new character, Dr. Toka, who is just a cantankerous bastard, but he's also apparently the galaxy's expert on Zerum. Figure he might have been important earlier, but we're getting him now. And he gets his ship gets hijacked with everyone on it. And
So, would you say this is where they got the idea for Sheldon Cooper?
please elaborate, because he's a cantankerous bastard who's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. It wouldn't surprise me. Iria is tasked by Bob with saving Dr. Toka, much to Fujikuro's dismay, because he wants the job.
No, I thought he didn't want nobody to take the job because he was like,
Yeah,
There's too much Zerum in the air.
that sounds accurate.
he's like, are you an idiot? You guys hear Zero, and you guys get all Twitter painted.
That's true. He did do that. I credit where credit's due, because he wasn't wrong.
It's a bunch of saffron, silly munch, and leprechaun knee pillows.
I couldn't have said it better. The the shit escalates, as it does in every episode. And in this one, we're fighting Zerum, but then we're also fighting not Zerums. There's a whole bunch of weird, gooey alien things that are all registering on Dr. Toka's magic Pokédex as Zerums. And
Yo, I get it. You know, he does seem like a cantankerous Professor Oak.
there you go. So they're all registering as Zerums. And so at this point, you're like, oh, are these like mini Zerums? Are they like Zerum's babies? Like, what are you
Again,
dealing
back
with
to
here?
aliens. This is Mother Alien versus
This kind
and we
of
just
right.
completely skipped the facehugger part.
Yeah, because it's so much more important later. But really, I'm sorry, I meant the face mouth thing. Zerum apparently absorbs DNA and makes clones. Not necessarily clones of itself,
Himself,
but sort of like weird, gooey
let's say
monster
clones of the person.
of the thing that it killed. Yeah.
So it
or
kills
absorbed.
them, absorbs them,
Right.
and then spits it out like an anaconda, and you basically have
The regurgitated
up-
clone version.
that's been
That's the best way to
stomach
do it.
acid all the way. Yeah, okay.
So one of the regurgitated clones is Iria's brother Gren, and so she finds Gren on this ship, and she has to fight her brother Gren, who, everybody with a right mind is like, it's just a clone, Iria, and she's like, I'm not sure. Like, it doesn't matter. He's swinging a sword at you, sweetheart. You need to make a decision here.
Like,
Mm.
you know what bothers her? A hair flip.
Right. The little hair flip gesture that he'd been doing in the first episode. And I'm like, oh, that's it. I'm sorry. There's so much less of him there than that.
Right. But panthy that does it. That brings you right back. Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's, what the fuck is that?
So this whole episode, the point is to introduce Dr. Toka as the character who knows the most about Zeiram, but also show that Zeiram is now creating regurgitated clones, and that the brother situation is going to continue to be a problem for her. And in the battle, one of the kids dies. He does it heroically. He saves, Iria from taking a hit by the Gren clone, delivering a bazooka because he's a bad shot. And she's able.
He shot it the opposite way. And this is the thing. He designed it to make it look like it points that way.
Yeah, right. It's design flaw. It was a design flaw for sure. So, and nevertheless, he dies. It's a very sad, somber moment. But honestly, the kid was
Annoying.
yeah. And we're left with Kay. Yeah, we're left with Kay, the other surviving child. Now,
I like how you did that.
Thank you, sir.
Other surviving child.
Shit ramps up in episode 5. Episode 5 is important, man. And this is why. So Iria and Kay are like partners now. At least Kay seems to think that they are Iria's partner.
Plate.
Thank you. Fujikuro, he's there. He's a dick, but he's trying to kind of be helpful. I don't know. But what he does is he's consistently right, sadly, is he just looks at Kay and he's like, that's a girl. And Bob's like, I'm sorry, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, look, and he says it in the worst way possible. And it just made me go, motherfucker. He goes, I know a woman when I smell one. And I went, bro, that's not.
Wait a minute.
Really could. It's just, say it right down. Like, you can't. That's not okay. Like, that's just not.
Could have said anything else. When I see one, hear one, whatever.
No, it was.
Where's a red card when you need one?
Christ, it was bad.
Foul on the play.
It's just, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Bro.
Bro.
I know.
We put up with a lot of shit back in the 90s.
We really did. We really did.
It was a different time.
We could have gone the whole fucking show without that being revealed to us.
We really could have. It would have been fine. Christ.
I've been being asked, with your powers of observation, how much therapy does that require for you? Because it feels like this is a superpower that needs some type of professional management.
I just, it's, yeah. I don't disagree with you.
I feel like
he meets up with his parole officer on Thursdays.
I feel like our generation got cured by exposure therapy. So like,
I feel like it was, yeah.
We grew up where somebody walked down the street and said stuff that would turn someone's hair gray. Yeah. And someone would go, wow, it must be Tuesday. And then you just have to go, okay.
This was some absurd. Right. Yeah, it was growing up in the 80s and 90s was some absurd shit. It was survival of the fittest. Like if you couldn't take it, you fucking just didn't.
Darwin claimed the 80s and the 90s.
If you grow up now, you would think we were a part of Clockwork Orange.
Mm-hmm.
It was
but with that being said, I don't think I was old enough to even really truly understand that. I was like, well, she smells like what does she smell like? What are you smelling?
It was it was fucking rough.
That's
all I'm gonna say about that.
As a kid.
No. We're gonna spend a couple of minutes on this because I have more questions. When you heard him first say it, did you catch it all the first time? Or did you nah, he didn't say that. Did you have to rewind it? Did you make sure?
Oh, no, I fucking wrote that shit down the second he said it. I was like, oh, this is going in the show notes.
I blocked it out.
I remembered it from the first time I watched it.
Which is a coping mechanism, by
That's
the
right.
way. Young generation.
Oh.
Yeah, it was wrong. It was so very wrong.
I put
It's
it
the
in the
kind of-
mental list of things to never say out loud.
It was honestly, it's the kind of thing that you just know would never get put into a show. Not today.
Not now.
Not anymore.
And
maybe Game
I'm
of
not-
Thrones.
and
Maybe
maybe
Game of
yes,
Thrones.
this is fair. And
Okay,
I'm not saying we're better or worse for it. I'm just saying this isn't the kind of thing that would have made it into a regular anime.
Mm-mm.
Have we come across anything thus far that may not have aged well? This yet?
What, like, are you kidding me? Like, we watched a bunch of hentai last year, right?
No, I'm talking about
Mhm.
in this series. In this
Oh,
series.
no. In this series, this is the first bit that made you go,
Mhm.
this is a product of its time. this is the line, episode 5, where you go, 90s, got it.
That's the
Because-
euphemism. This is a product of its time. Means that people just said stuff and said, F around and find out.
Yeah, it was fucking
right.
lawless.
Now watch. That is the statement that I usually say, and I will not be saying for this episode.
Oh, fucking
Man.
hell.
Jesus.
It
And
was,
the thing about
yeah.
it, he was saying it with such
Oh, matter of fact. Just matter
Such
of fact.
gusto.
Yeah.
like I know a woman when I saw one.
Yeah, that he
Mhm.
did the inflection was not meant to be read in any other way than the way
Hey,
that we
y'all.
all.
Maybe those listening are not as grossed out as we are. Kay is like 12.
Yeah, right. K is very much just freshly pubescent.
Right. So that's the part that they're like, what's the fucking big deal?
It's gross. So gross.
You know what? And here's why I say, well, even fucking Tywin Lannister, fucking Game of Thrones, when he found out that when he saw Arya for the first time, he had a little bit more tact with say, that's a girl. This has none of that.
None at all.
None of
None.
that.
Oh man, so
The
that's
gig's
the
up.
big. That's honestly the biggest reveal of this episode, and we blast right past it in the anime. It moves on, and we find out that it confirmed that Zeiram's just making minions now. Just has an army of minions that he's began
Because he's
making,
killing everything.
Yeah, he's been
Because
killing things left and right.
killing everything. Fujikuro, apparently the most perceptive person in the entire anime, in this episode also notices that Zeiram is actually Gren, Iria's brother, simply by the way he's holding a beam weapon. It was as simple as that. He's like, that's Gren. You're like, what?
Which doesn't really help anything.
At all.
It doesn't
Makes things
help.
far more difficult.
Yeah. It doesn't really help her say, I got to find a way to kill him. I
Yeah.
mean, or say, it just
Yeah.
says, that's Grin. Oh, don't worry about it. Still kill it.
Yeah, you still got to kill it, but that's totally Gren, by the way.
Yeah.
But the good
Yeah,
thing is
remember
that at this point, Iria's already figured that out. She's on her own little side mission, and she's already prepared mentally for this, and she engages with her brother, and she calls him out. But then he says something else. Go ahead, Vic.
We're gonna skip over the radio sphincter.
No, we're not. Please. I called it the butthole bloom. That's what I put in my notes. So,
Ah.
Zeiram's got this butthole bloom. It's a flower that looks like a raw anus. It is.
That he uses to call other Zeiram.
He's using it to summon more of himself. It's the only thing I can just. We can't. This is the episode. This is the
the
episode that
bio
would have
is-
gotten the series canceled in today's time
Oh yeah.
if it wasn't.
it is angry looking too.
It's so angry. It's so angry.
They had a bad moment at Taco Bell.
Oh, for God's sake. No, I had it in my notes, Vic. I hadn't forgotten. The other thing that Fujikuro says in this, because this was Fujikuro's episode, man. In this, he says that Zeiram is Gren, and then Kay is like, Gren, you mean Iria's brother? And then he says something along the lines of, that's right, they were kind of like brother and sister. Implying that they're not actually blood relatives at all.
Correct.
Doesn't come up ever again,
Nope.
Nope.
but he said it. Anyway. It was worth mentioning. So yes, so the butthole bloom is a thing, and they're summoning more Zeirams. Iria
You
is
said it.
engaging. What?
God, your voice is so
I can make anything sound
tender.
like it's
Right.
normal.
That was
Um,
the butthole bloom, you know.
that was the best note I could come up with for it. Iria engages with Zeiram, and Zeiram, for those who haven't seen the anime, maybe you've seen the sizzle reel that featured it. Zeiram looks like it's this giant hat, like disc-like hat, like those old style, hats, straw hat kind of thing. It looks kind of like that, except it's got this little like kabuki face at the top of it, and the little kabuki face is like Zeiram's second face, because Zeiram's got like his slit eye thing under the hat deal, but on top is this little angry face, this little angry kabuki face. It's just
me.
constantly think of
Oh, you said it.
Salacious Croy. He's Salacious Crumb from
Oh,
Star
shoot,
Wars,
yeah.
right? Little motherfucker that sits next to Jabba.
You already
But
had
it's
it
a
with
little
a face
face.
hugger.
Little face up in the top of the hat. That's what this little fucker is. It's so
Yeah,
annoying.
you already said the
It
face
is.
hugger.
It's like the second
The
mouth in
the
Alien.
alien
Yeah,
mouth.
absolutely. Because the damn thing gets excited and it just comes out.
Excited.
Just like
He gets erect and keeps on shooting its load towards people's face to
oh shit! And this thing is so angry, it just attacks, just all the time. Yeah. And in this, they totally recreate that Aliens scene where the mouth is like coming at
Mhm.
Ripley, and it's the little
Right
like
there.
mouth like thing like right up in her face, just like trying to stick it in her face. It's rude. It's just rude. Like you can't. It is rude.
because you know that motherfucker did not floss.
Oh,
Oh, it
I
has
mean,
all the death and all
it's
the
just wrong.
rancid
It's
meat.
it's a social rule. You got to keep your little heads to yourself.
You really do. You can't be flaunting that around and trying to shove it in women's faces. It's not okay.
I don't
Like,
think he
the
cared if
dick
it was
pic
male or
was-
female. If it had a
She
face, he wanted
does-
to shove it in it.
She does stick her grenade in it. Just,
She does.
just like it promptly spits it out, but she tried. Stick a
Oh.
grenade in it.
So can we agree? It's basically a dick pic with an alien.
Yeah,
Like-
well, yeah.
It shows up
Absolutely.
whenever
Mhm.
you don't want it, and
Yeah.
you just open your phone and there's there.
Yeah, making
So
a
I've
face
heard.
at
I've
you.
never
Not
never
that you would.
received one except for the one that
Absolutely.
Dick sent me that one time.
That's right.
You promised never to tell.
It's all right. I'll edit it out. It'll be fine.
You're not gonna edit it out, right? The world needs to know.
Brad's like, please don't edit it out. So, the end of this episode is her brother Gren. He breaks free long enough. He breaks free of Zeiram long enough to convince Iria to shoot him, to kill him. Iria then uses a gun with a drill
Oh.
bit attached to it,
Iria freezes
without a doubt.
Mhm.
Yes.
or way too long.
Way
Way
too
too
long.
long.
She missed the
Wait.
opportunity, thus causing a next episode.
Absolutely. Yes,
Mhm.
that exactly. She's just a little late with her drill bit gun, and it didn't go her way. And my notes about this are All right, the episode starts, the last episode. She has a dream. That's not really important. She's in recovery. That's not important either. There's a shower scene. Also not important, but it's there. Everyone is just sitting the fuck around while the bad guy's taking a nap. That's the part that's important. That's the part I really want to point out here. Zeiram is asleep in a stasis, like on top of this building that got all jacked from the fight, and he's like vined in, and he's out cold. And everybody's just kind of chilling, like, oh, what do we do, guys?
Well, it's like an angry chihuahua when it's asleep. God forbid you wake it up, you're gonna lose a finger.
The fire thing didn't work. I don't want to wake up this angry, cock-faced alien thing. This could go bad. So, like, what? Nobody's trying anything. Like, nothing. While it was asleep, they came up with a plan, and their plan. They're gonna
wait until it woke up.
Wait till it wakes up to teleport it away, which is a plan. We're gonna send it away. And Dr. Toka, bless his old cantankerous heart, he's like, he's just gonna come back, dipshits. They're like, well, we'll send him away again.
It's like, he knows where we live.
Their answer was, we'll just do it again. Oh, man. Bureaucracy. It's the best. So... Anyway, that's the whole, first 10 minutes is this shit. Iria's training in her holodeck. Kay tries to steal a ship to go fight Zeiram by herself because...
She's a 12-year-old woman who...
That's right.
Smells.
And forgot to fill the tank with gas before she left. Iria steals Fujikuro's ride, and she goes to engage Zeiram again. At this point, Zeiram's got an army of clones.
Yeah.
Just a massive army of clones. And initiates this attack of the clones on this army, this military presence is
you
there.
Motherfucker.
To try and stop them from putting the transmat team in place.
Do you mean to hurt me like that when you do it? Do you?
Just a little bit.
Just to make sure you're paying attention.
That's it. Just keeping you in the game. So...
you motherfucker.
This juicy, weird, regurgitated clone army is trying to stop the military from putting in place this transmat team.
Thank you for not going.
You're welcome.
You cannot say this clone army of the Republic. You didn't do that. You could have.
I didn't. Because I love you. And while this is going on, Zeiram wakes up again. They don't really say why Zeiram wakes up. Zeiram just suddenly says, "Oh, boy, that was a great nap. I think I'm gonna kill some more." And he kind of just wakes up. And
sounded just like that too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's exactly what he said. So
he is the voice actor.
That's right. Iria is at this point attempting to engage, to go to Zeiram to fight Zeiram again, and Bob is doing a thing. Iria is preparing to fight. She's trying to get to Zeiram. The military is trying to stop her from getting to Zeiram.
Why?
She does manage to get to Zeiram
Why?
with the help of...
They try to stop her.
Why? I don't know.
They want
but
it.
Fujikuro Kay help her get there. They help her get to the end. And Fujikuro does the smart thing. He fucking leaves.
Yes.
He's like, here you go, I'm out.
But Kay decides to stay. So there's a breakdown of duties here that needs to happen. And what happens is, Iria's going to fight Zeiram, and Kay has to kill the butthole bloom. These are the rules. This is what has to happen. Kay, go blow up the butthole bloom with your boomstick. Shove the stick into the butthole bloom, kill it. It's going to be perfect. And Iria's going to fight Zeiram. This is it.
Well, they have to repeat the plan one more time, right?
Yeah. Butthole bloom. Put the boomstick into the butthole bloom. Blow up the butthole bloom. It's gonna be fun.
Kaboom.
Doesn't go great. Doesn't go great at all. Zeiram's not a fan of getting his butthole bloom messed with, so he...
Not very many people like a
out.
stick up their ass.
Not really. It doesn't go perfectly according to plan. So Iria has a new plan, and makes me literally laugh out loud when she gears up Kay, and she's like, "Oh man, you're just like me," and then fucking Sparta kicks her ass off the top of the building.
That was
remind me
best.
so much of me.
Whoa!
It was great.
Best.
I was like, awesome.
Except Rick was
Good
hoping
time.
for that like in episode 2.
Oh man, I would have fucking kicked the shit out of that kid. It was great.
Every parenting memory in the 80s and 90s. My mother told me I was gonna have one like you.
Accurate. So accurate. So accurate. Oh man. So now it's down to our main heroine. It's Iria and Zeiram, the animation. And the transmat takes place and they are immediately teleported to some desolate fuckwhere in space, which did make me ask the question. If you were going to transmat this nearly unstoppable killing machine and you have the ability to teleport it theoretically anywhere.
Why not the sun?
Thank you,
That's
sir.
what I was thinking.
That was my first thought. It was like, I get it when she did it in episode 2. She didn't have time to think about it. She just had to get rid of it. But this time, they've been planning while he was taking a nap. Like, the best they could come up with. Nevertheless, they get teleported to this desolate space for their epic final battle. It's cool shit. It's a cool fight. I think we can all agree it was a cool fight. There was really cool shit in there. She uses her shield to cut Zeiram in half, which was fucking great. Zeiram, unstoppable Zeiram, half a body, still like, I'm gonna eat you anyway, and like still lands and starts to absorb her. Her plan was to get absorbed.
Get absorbed.
That was her plan. Get absorbed.
To get inside of him.
Figure out how to kill him.
Right. I'm going to get absorbed just enough so that he can tell me what his weak spot is. It's not her brightest moment. And I don't necessarily know that it actually worked. I don't think it did.
No.
Because she just kind of starts shooting her guns. She just she's just emptying the clip. Yeah. She just doesn't have anything left. And she's just emptying the clip. But it's enough. It gets Zeiram to back off just enough to decide that Zeiram's gonna put his little face in her face again. So he backs off, and little angry kabuki face comes out his head, all penis-like, and attempts to catch her. And she does the thing. I was very impressed with her. She takes her beads, which have been like a talking point this whole fucking anime, pops a little knife out of him, and then fucking bisects the entire penis face thing. It was pretty cool.
No.
Mm-hmm.
It was painful, but it was cool.
No. No.
No?
No.
It wasn't cool? Go on.
That could have been done fucking episode 1.
Could it have?
Yeah. They had blades then. At any moment in time.
But did they know?
Look, they decided to shoot anything and everything on that bitch. The forehead, the horny unicorn or alien has revealed itself many times.
Yeah.
Throughout this anime.
Trying to put itself all up on people. I know, it's terrible.
Right. So shoot it. You guys are bounty hunters. You guys are excellent marksmen. You know what? I'm gonna shoot that. You're basically saying that was it, and that was it. That's that one part.
So the thing of it is this is how I processed it, Brian. You can tell me that I'm full of shit, but this is the way I processed it. Was first, Zeiram had been cut in half, so he was already operating at a little bit of a disadvantage. She got halfway absorbed and unloaded the clip from inside of him, so he'd taken a shit ton of damage that way too, weakened more so. And then in the fusing of their minds, she sees that the way to handle this is not to attack the little face, but to attack the tentacle attached to the face. Backwards. It's the first time she ever tried to do it backwards. Every other time they tried to attack Zeiram, they always attacked the little angry kabuki face, the head of the penis.
Yeah, it's always attack from the rear.
Not the shaft. It was always the face. Always trying to get at the head.
This was released in 1996, you said, right?
It was, yeah.
Well, here.
By this time, on Earth, Arena Bobby had happened.
Yeah, it's true.
This is facts. Oh my gosh. I'm not arguing that.
Not to
But
mention
I'm
the
just
fact
saying that I don't think she lived on Mies.
not to mention the fact that there are plenty of episodes in hentai where you cut the dick off.
You're not wrong.
So
You're
really,
absolutely not.
you are not doing nothing fucking new.
Agreed.
Nothing new.
New for her. You know, it's a first time for every girl. Okay? Yeah, not all of them get to deal with the really angry penis face thing attacking them all. This was her first one.
She filleted it right down the middle.
Yeah, you gotta give her some grace here. You know, and Zeiram only had the one. If she'd had to deal with like the Chojin from Urutsukuji, there'd have been 75. You know, she'd have had to figure that shit out way faster. She just had to.
You would have had to food wars it. Julianne.
That's it. This was just, and the business end is coming at you. You know, like, the business end is really angry and in your face. Like that's where you're, you know. So I'm just saying, give her some grace. You know,
No.
Now, Brian.
Because even then,
yeah.
When Grin popped out and he said, "Shoot me," she should have known that her pain had been absorbed. Because Grin said, "Shoot me," as opposed to, "Hey, ding, 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 slice."
He didn't have any hands though. He just had his head. That came out.
Does this help you, Brian? Knowing that it is a prequel, Zeiram is not actually dead, and does come back for the film and its sequel.
How did they kill him in this? That's all I want to know. How did they kill him there?
I don't know. I've never watched the movies. But if the anime was a self-contained thing, that is how you kill it. You bisect the penis face backwards.
Now, is it the same Zeiram?
Again, don't know. But I believe it is. I believe it is because it's supposed to be an unkillable, unstoppable killing thing.
Or did Butthole Blue actually get a hold of his people?
Shield.
To me, that's the answer, Lynette. Is like, get 5 shields, chop them up into, like, shield them into, like, 5 different containers, and just scatter that shit to the 4 corners of the galaxy. Problem solved. Leave those shields on perpetually. Hook that shit up to an Energizer battery. Just leave it. No, I agreed with you. I do agree with you, Brian. I'm being facetious. I do agree with you. It seemed rather simple. Like that was after everything, after all the damage that this monster had been able to take, that a reverse bisection of its penis was the way to defeat it.
Like, this is not fucking Achilles.
Well, I mean, how many times have you guys gotten frustrated over doing something only to realize
you were doing it backwards?
Pushed down. You push something. If you pushed it in, like I don't know how many times I got frustrated building my computer before I realized that my RAM wasn't in all the way.
Listen,
why is this?
Vic and I got a pretty damn good story about this.
No, this was like 96.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty on point.
Yeah, so I mean, I could see, and I'm pulling at straws because technically, yes, they could have just lucky shot at it,
right,
and gone, oh, that's how you do it.
Yeah,
but I have a feeling they're trying to do the whole, how many times have you had this task or this puzzle that you've been working on only to realize that you did something stupid?
You just had it a little backwards. Yeah. So Vic, do you want to tell the story or should I?
No, you can have it.
All right. So around this time, I had one of my first PCs, and for the kids at home, PCs are like now. Back then, a PC was
a tank.
It was a pretty hardy box. I had this big, ugly ass beige computer box with a solid metal exterior, And
And no type of lights.
No, none of
Lights.
that fancy shit. It had a
No.
2 gigabyte hard drive, and I thought I was on cloud nine. But Vic and I were working on it. We were at his place and we were working on it, and we'd spend a good amount of time. Vic, I totally forgot what we were doing to the computer. It's not the point.
I forgot.
It doesn't matter. The point is,
You were
if you're-
partitioning a hard drive.
it doesn't even matter. It might have been. So we're putting it back together, and Vic and I spend an unreasonable amount of time trying to
We're
get
30 plus minutes in.
trying to get the case back on, because the case is this metal thing and you got to slide it on, and it has to slide on in a very specific way. And if it doesn't, it's like trying to dock with the International Space Station. You have to fucking nail this. Like, you do not get a second. There's a specific way. It's the only way. Vic and I were on this for a good 30 minutes, easy. We were to the point where we were going to get a file and start sawing off parts of the cabinet to get it to go back in. We could not figure out why this wasn't fitting right. Vic's grandfather, he walks into the room and he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And Vic explains what we're doing. And he looks at it. "You're putting it on backwards." And he walks away.
My grandfather has never touched a computer.
The man barely knows how to operate a TV. He walks up, he looks at the case, he goes, "You're putting it on backwards." And he left. And Vic and I were sitting there holding this giant, ridiculously heavy metal thing in our hands going, "Sweet fucking Jesus, he's right." We flipped it around, went perfectly, first try, no issues, perfectly together. So sometimes, Ryan, specifically in the 90s, you do need to just come at it from the other way. Be all right. That's the lesson here.
Ironically, it fits with what you guys said. You're going down, you got to go backwards. So actually,
so it's the closest I've got to making a case to helping it. I do agree with you, Brian, that it seemed a little forced, but at the same time, I gave it to her because, admittedly, she never tried it that way. She kept trying to blow holes in the damn thing, and that just wasn't working for her.
Oh, they even mentioned before that Zeiram was like an unkillable killing machine.
Right.
So,
right, yeah. So, so she bisects the dickhead with her knife and kills it, and then her and Kay ride off into a sunrise, not a sunset. It's a sunrise specifically because where they are is really bright or some shit. Also,
they just dropped it. They just dropped it right there.
They did. That was it. It was like a western. It was like a western movie. The hero
it felt more like a kung fu movie.
Yeah.
Where the kung fu, where they.
It's it. And then
the
end. That's it. Done. And that was the end of the series. And it was. That's what it was. And it was intended to be a prequel to the movie. I didn't know that. I've only ever seen Iria Zeiram as a self-contained anime. I had no idea that the films were even a thing. So yeah, Iria Zeiram, 1996. It was a thing.
We are the worst Wikipedia synopsis for series. It's really.
Hey, listen.
We got problems.
We've been doing this for a few years now. If people are still listening to us, they know our deal. We rewatch these anime. We ruin everything, and we proceed to be as honest as we can about it. It's our shtick. It's fine. Well, with this note though, we do want to go ahead and head into our final thoughts on Iria Zeiram, the animation. And with that in mind, I will start with let's start with you today, Vic. Iria Zeiram, 1996 OVA series. How do you feel about it now versus then?
I still enjoyed it. I mean, I could have done without some of the fluff. They could have knocked it down to 4 or 5 episodes. But beyond that, I still thoroughly enjoyed it same as the first time I watched it.
All right.
Is it perfect? No. Is it a fun watch? I thought so.
Tight. Solid. All right.
Quick, short, and to the point.
I'm with you. Lynette, I know that you had never seen this before, as we covered that at the top of the hour here. So how did you like Iria Zeiram?
I liked it, even though I was procrastinating on this one very, very bad. I was very shameful. But I actually, watching it, I did enjoy it. I was like, oh, I feel like I would have enjoyed it if I did see it when it came out or was made available. Um, yeah, nothing except for a couple of parts where I'm like, oh, yeah, that's from back in the day.
Facts. Very much facts. I'll give you
But
that.
yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Awesome.
I was surprised I liked it because
Yeah.
when I saw the first episode, I was like, well, how are you gonna top that? And then I go, oh, she's gonna take off her clothes. So it's one of them animes.
One of those. Got it.
It's one of those animes. All right, and then it just got weird, and then it got funny, and then I was like, oh, there was a line, you just went over it, and and so, but yeah, it was good.
Awesome. All right, Brian, my friend, let's have it.
Yeah. Has a lot of premise, but you just keep dropping the endings. Always drop the ball for me.
It's a common problem.
It's like, okay, we don't even care no more. You can tell when they check out. Right? You get to a point where we're doing so great. What? You gotta. We're going to the red light district. Cut the dick off.
Oh man.
And maybe I have high expectations, but this is supposed to be culture of execution. Everything from sword to archery to how they make stuff. Everything is supposed to be it's been the standard for so long. And these guys just can't stick the landing. It's like having the best Olympic squad, and they just always stumble or something, too much power, and they never stick the landing. And it's maddening for me.
And we've talked about that in the past, Brian. How a lot of these anime that they just can't seem to stick the landing, and we just don't know why. Everything from Fist of the North Star, even Alita, like all of these anime we watched over these years, a lot of it was the journey, not the destination, because the endings always seem to kind of fall flat on a lot of these, or they don't have an epilogue of any kind. It's like building to the second act, and then there's no third. Like,
yeah,
so we got the second
surprise closing.
Yeah. So I feel that.
But even the way they end this is just abrupt. For hell, they could have taken a note from fucking Peter Jackson and stretched out the ending for another 2 episodes. Peter Jackson knows how to fucking close.
The long close.
Say what you want of them. Any issues you had, any questions you had, it's great. But this is just, there's no closure for me. How is she gonna? Because when we leave them, nobody knows they got transmatted over there.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And they're supposed to be on a desolate moon, but apparently she's going to get back to be in. Apparently, this is the prequel.
Yeah.
It's just her and the kid.
It's just her and the kid. I don't even think the kid's in the movie. I think it's just her and Bob in the movie.
It's been so long I don't remember.
And mind you, Bob was off somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Bob doesn't have a body. Bob's everywhere.
Bob is Ultron. Okay, Roger.
Yeah,
got
Bob is Ultron.
Yeah. Or is he more Jarvis? Bob is Jarvis.
I feel like he's a little more Jarvis, yeah.
And Bob is Jarvis.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
But
all right, so that being said, do you see yourself recommending it?
I don't know. I don't know, because again, I give it credit where credit's due. I give it the nice, great things they did, and really, other than the landing and that one line, it's really. But you kind of need that shit for, that's basically saying, you know what, I'm gonna make you this wonderful plate of barbecue.
You don't get the sauce.
You don't. No. You don't even get the plate. We just cut off right before you're supposed to get the plate. You don't get to eat it or nothing. I've done this entire time smoking this 12-hour brisket,
smelling it.
Right.
You're like it's see it cooking. Yeah. No, I hear you.
It's so
okay.
For it to be that simple, even the story that you had when you're talking about desktop, right?
Yeah.
Even after that, we know that you still had to plug it in. You still got to the point where you pushed the button for the first time and all of it still worked and came on at one time. And there's a joy there. There's resolution there. Even if you have to tell me that story, I know that. This one, they just leave you in a desolation and like, happy ending, y'all.
Yeah. Don't you feel like the transmat system obviously would work both ways? It'd be able to bring her back.
One word: bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy, without a doubt. Lots of that.
I got 2 words for you: anime logic.
Bureaucracy and tippy die. Don't want people to know what happened.
Yeah.
And they're the one that paid the bill. So there's more than enough information for why there needs to be resolution for how they got back. And they could have done that because we know, based on the wonderful spoiling that we did, that everything was stacked against them. The government was trying to stop them.
Yeah.
Company that hired them betrayed them and also killed the guy they were trying to remove all evidence from there. So basically, you kill it off and you're now, apparently, you're a loose end.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
We need to make sure that there is some type of reward for you to get back. Hell, let's say a movie, say, The Departed, right?
Sure.
Even in The Departed, let's say when you take that aspect where she dies, it still comes out because it still gets out, and then retribution happens by a Wahlberg's ass walking in and busting a cap. You see what I'm saying?
So
none of that happens here. So we're left up.
Brian, tell me how you feel about the Sopranos ending.
They went to the alto and the baritone never came through. So don't ask me about fucking Dexter. I was like, you fucking don't ask me about Dexter. Don't ask me about Lost. Don't ask me about any of these things. It's a big. I have separation anxiety and I have closure issues. That's on me.
Fair.
But
fair.
I go to fucking therapy for this.
All right. Fair. Okay.
They're not helping.
So so Mindless Musings, before we close out, is Tetsuro Amino, the director of this. He was also a director on Macross 7. He did a couple of the OVAs for Macross 7. There was a video game for the Super Famicom, or the Japanese Super Nintendo, for those who are not in the know. It was released in 1995, and it was called Hyper Iria. I think she drank a lot of coffee, and I don't remember the game specifically, but I'm sure it's how it goes. And then there was a title for the PlayStation called Zeiram Zone. So the anime did see some success, enough to spawn some games, but not enough to spawn more. It's just the OVAs were kind of just the one and done of it. So,
but that was quite common back then too.
Absolutely common. There are plenty of other anime that we loved that didn't get both a satisfying ending or a continuation. So I myself, I enjoyed it. I liked a lot of it. Yeah, like Vic said, it's not perfect. It's missing some core components. Like Brian said, an ending. But I do think that it's very much, it's indicative of the mid 90s sci-fi anime. Like it's very much a great, if you wanted to show someone a good example that was entertaining but was absolutely informative of the type of anime we were getting in the 90s, this is a great example. I think you can show it as that, while maybe throwing an asterisk on there for at least one line, depending on the person you're sharing it with.
You mentioned it in the shower scene. I don't expect the beautiful grace of Plastic Little.
This is not a Plastic Little shower. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's no detailed genitalia of any kind in the shower. I think it's just a peach body, which again is indicative of some of the way they did things in the 90s. Nevertheless, I did enjoy it. I had a good time with it. I, like Lynette, I procrastinated watching it. Real life got in the way of the assignment. But when I did finally sit down and start watching it, I was enjoying myself and I wanted to continue to watch it. So I was able to get through it fairly easily. It wasn't a slog at all for me, and I was having a good time with it. So I guess that's kind of going to do it for our show. It's going to do it for this episode. So until next time, keep calm and remember that blowing up the butthole bloom just pisses off the dickhead.
You've just been privy to the mindless midlife musings of the anime nerd, presented by Geek Grotto. For show notes and corrections, or for general geeky fun, you can visit our website at geek-grotto.com. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, please like, follow, and subscribe.